first presentation was the 5 themes that scholars of Revelation agree are important about Jesus.
Prej smo govorili o 5 stvareh, okrog katerih se teologi, ki raziskujejo razodetje, strinjajo. O Jezusu torej.
But now I want to share a 6th theme.
Jaz bi vam zdaj predlagal 6. temo.
And this one is an additional contribution to what other scholars have done.
Torej je to prispevek k tistemu, okrog česa se drugi strinjajo.
And to me it is a very exciting one because it brings the gospel of Jesus Christ into clarity in the book of Revelation.
Zame je ta posebno navdušujoča, zato ker dodaja k jasnosti evangelija v razodetju.
But before we start, we'll have another tour of Patmos.
Ampak preden začnemo, bomo še malo obiskali Patmos.
Here we are looking out from Patmos to some small islands out in the sea.
To je pogled s Patmosa na nek otoček oziroma 2.
This is the highest point on the island of Patmos, and the large structure there is called the Monastery of St. John.
To je najvišja točka na otoku in ta struktura, ki jo vidite, to poslopje, je samostan svetega Ivana, Janeza.
It was built about 1,000 years ago in honor of the book of Revelation.
Zaradi knjige razodetja je bila zgrajena 1000 let nazaj.
And as you can see, it's a nice place also for vacation.
Kot vidite, je to čudovit kraj, kjer lahko preživite počitnice.
It is absolutely amazing the colors on Patmos.
Na Patmosu so barve prečudovite.
The grass is kind of yellow. It's a yellow-brown grass.
Trava je rjavkasta,
But
rumenkasta.
the bushes and the trees are green.
Vendar so drevesa in tudi grmičev je zeleno.
The water is a deep blue.
Morje je temno modro.
The sky is a lighter blue.
Nebo pa svetlejše.
The houses, they are whitewashed, a bright color that almost shines in the sun.
Vse hiše so bele, jih tako pleskajo in žarijo v soncu skoraj da.
And then you have the bougainvillea plants with their beautiful pink and red colors.
Potem imate, kaj ste, bougainvillea? Ja, neke rože so, dobro.
Yeah. So
uživate tudi v rožah lahko, no, če ste botanik.
Yeah. So this is the combination is extremely beautiful.
Čudovito vse skupaj, ko daste.
I did make a very interesting discovery in Patmos.
Na Patmosu sem odkril nekaj čudovitega.
I found the original motorcycle that John used to use.
Jaz sem odkril motocikl, ki ga je takrat Janez še uporabljal.
And I will show you a picture of that in a later
In sem ga
setting.
slikal, vam pokažem pozneje.
In the first presentation, we looked at the 5 pictures of Jesus that scholars have brought to us.
V prvi predstavitvi sem vam pokazal 5 podob Jezusa Kristusa, ki so nam jih teologi pokazali.
But now I would like to share a 6th.
Zdaj pa pride 6.
And that is, he is the ruler of God's creation.
To je upravitelj Božjega stvarstva.
And again, I remind you of the principle that the book of Revelation brings all the other books of the Bible together.
Spet vas hočem spomniti na tisto, da razodetje pravzaprav skupaj prinaša vse, kar so druge svetopisanske knjige prinesle.
If you want to understand the book of Revelation,
Če hočete razumeti razodetje,
you need to know the Old Testament.
morate poznati Staro zavezo.
And you also need to know how the New Testament uses those Old Testament ideas.
In morate tudi vedeti, kako Nova zaveza uporablja gradivo iz Stare zaveze.
We will explore that picture in this hour.
Zdaj bomo se ukvarjali s tem.
In the book of Revelation, the Old Testament is everywhere.
V razodetju pravzaprav najdete Staro zavezo povsod.
There's perhaps 1,000 or more times that the Old Testament is brought to reference.
1000 in večkrat se omenjajo stvari iz Stare zaveze.
But the book of Revelation never actually quotes the Old Testament.
ampak v razodetju ne boste našli nobenega navedka iz Stare zaveze.
Instead, it alludes to the Old Testament.
Pravzaprav daje samo namige.
A word in one place,
Ponekod je to beseda,
a phrase,
ponekod fraza,
a name.
ime.
With little hints, the Old Testament is brought into view.
S pomočjo namigov se torej prihaja Stara zaveza v razodetje.
In an allusion, John wants the reader to go back to the Old Testament.
Ko uporablja tak namig, ki je imenovan aluzija, Janez hoče, da bi se ukvarjali s Staro zavezo.
And to notice how this idea from Revelation is used in the Old Testament.
Na ta način vidimo pravzaprav, kako razodetje uporablja starozavezne pojme.
So that's what we call allusions.
Zato rečemo temu aluzija.
There are also echoes of the Old Testament.
Imamo tudi nekaj, kar sem imenoval odmev
John
Stare
uses
zaveze.
words and ideas that are found in the Old Testament.
To so besede in ideje, ki jih uporablja Janez, so pa del Stare zaveze.
But he isn't even aware that he is using them.
Ampak pri tem on niti ne ve, da jih uporablja.
Perhaps
Se ne zaveda.
you're familiar with this idea.
Morda je tudi vam znano to.
Have you ever been talking to somebody and suddenly you used a phrase from the Bible?
Ali ste že govorili s kom in naenkrat kar ena fraza iz Svetega pisma?
And maybe you knew that you were doing that, and maybe you didn't know.
Morda ste se zavedali tega, morda niti ne.
So it's very important in studying Revelation to know when John is alluding to the Old Testament and when he's only echoing the language.
Torej je pomembno vedeti, ko poslušamo oziroma beremo razodetje, kdaj Janez aludira na določene stvari iz Stare zaveze in kdaj je samo odmev tega.
You get a deeper and clearer picture of Jesus when you see how John brings in the Old Testament.
Ko veste, na kakšen način Janez uporablja Staro zavezo, dobiste jasnejšo sliko Jezusa.
Our key text for this study is Revelation 3, verse 14.
Naše besedilo, ki je osnova za to proučevanje, je v razodetju 3:14. Angel v cerkvi v Laodikeji piši: tole govori Amen, zvesta in resnična priča, začetek Božjega stvarjenja.
So here he is called in this text the ruler of God's creation or the beginning of God's creation.
Tukaj je imenovan vladar stvarjenja ali pa začetek stvarjenja.
I believe that in your translation it says the beginning of God's creation.
Yes, it is. Pri vas sem kar uganil, da je začetek.
Why is there this difference?
Zakaj je takšna razlika?
Because the difference is built on the same word.
Ker razlika gradi na isti besedi, grški.
The same Greek word can mean beginning or ruler.
Ista grška zadeva lahko pomeni začetek in tudi vladar.
The Greek word for ruler is arche.
Grška beseda je arhe.
And this is in both of our languages also used.
V naših jezikih se ta beseda uporablja.
For example, the word archaeology is based on this Greek word.
Naprimer, arheologija je zloženka, ki vsebuje tudi arhe.
The word archaeology means the study of old things or the study of beginnings.
Ta beseda pomeni proučevanje starih stvari ali začetkov.
But we can use the same word to talk about monarchy.
Isto besedo uporabljamo, ko rečemo monarh.
The monarch is the rule of one person.
Monarh, torej mono in arhe, to je vladar, ki je sam.
So this same word has the idea of something that comes before, but also something that is greater than.
Ista beseda lahko označi tisto, kar je prej in tisto, kar je večje.
And the two ideas are related.
In te ideje so pravzaprav povezane.
We think of the ruler as the first person in
O
some ways.
vladarju mislimo kot o prvemu med ljudmi.
In either case, this text in Revelation is pointing back to Genesis 1.
V vsakem primeru, če gledamo tako ali drugače, ali prevedemo tako ali drugače, je govor o Prvi Mojzesovi 1, 26 do 28.
Because in the Greek Old Testament, this word arche is used in Genesis 1.
Ker je ravno ta beseda arhe uporabljena v grškem prevodu Stare zaveze, torej prve Mojzesove.
In verse 1, it says, "In the beginning, God created the heaven and earth."
Prva vrsta pravi, v začetku je Bog ustvaril nebesa in zemljo.
But then in chapter 1, verse 26 and beyond, it talks about Adam as the one who is the ruler over God's creation.
Potem v 26. vrsti naprej besedilo govori o Adamu, ki je vladar vsega ustvarjenega.
So here in the message to Laodicea is a reference to creation.
Torej v sporočilu Laodikeji dobimo namig oziroma se vračamo nazaj v prvo Mojzesovo.
And in particular, there's a
Oziroma-
reference to the original Adam.
Stvarjenje in prvega Adama.
Let's explore this in more detail.
Poglejmo zdaj to malo bolj podrobno.
Please read Genesis 1, verses 26 to 28.
Prebrali bomo prvo Mojzesovo prvo poglavje 26 do 28. Bog je rekel: naredimo človeka po svoji podobi, kot svojo podobnost. Gospoduje naj ribam morja in pticam neba, živini in vsej zemlji, ter vsej laznini, ki se plazi po zemlji. Bog je ustvaril človeka po svoji podobi, po Božji podobi ga je ustvaril, moškega in žensko je ustvaril. Bog ju je blagoslovil in Bog jima je rekel: bodita rodovitna in množita se, napolnita zemljo in si jo podvrzita, gospodujta ribam v morju in pticam na nebu, ter vsem živalim, ki se gibljajo po zemlji.
So in this text, it says about Adam that he is to rule over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, all the creatures that move along the ground.
To besedilo torej govori o Adamu, ki naj bi vladal pticam na nebu, ribam v morju oziroma vsemu, kar je na zemlji.
So here, the ruler of God's creation is Adam.
Upravitelj Božjega stvarstva je tukaj Adam.
And this is an idea that scholars call Adam typology.
Temu pravijo teologi Adamova tipologija,
That Adam becomes a model for Jesus.
kar pomeni, da je Adam pravzaprav model Jezusa Kristusa, predpodoba.
There are aspects of Adam's life and story that become part of Jesus.
Ker so deli zgodbe o Adamu in njegovega položaja, ki so pravzaprav uporabljeni v Jezusovem primeru.
In the New Testament, Jesus is called the second Adam or the last Adam. And you see the text there, Romans 5 and 1 Corinthians 15.
Nova zaveza govori o Jezusu kot drugemu Adamu ali zadnjemu Adamu v Rimljanom in prvi Korinčanom.
Another interesting text is John 1:1.
Drugo zanimivo besedilo je Janez 1:1.
Go
V
ahead.
začetku je bila beseda in Bog je bila beseda in beseda je bila pri Bogu. In vse je postalo po njej in karkoli je postalo po njej.
So in the beginning was the Word, Jesus Christ.
Torej v začetku je bila beseda Jezus Kristus.
So here in John, there's reference back to creation.
Torej se to nanaša spet nazaj na stvarjenje.
Colossians 1:15 says of Jesus, he is the image of God.
Kološanom 1:15 pravi, da je Jezus podoba Boga.
This is a clear connection with Adam once again.
Spet zelo jasna povezava z Adamom.
Verse 27 of Genesis 1.
27. vrsta, ki smo jo brali v prvi Mojzesovi.
God
Ena.
created man in his own image.
Bog je človeka ustvaril po lastni podobi.
Adam was the image of God.
Adam je bil podoba Boga.
So we see here that Jesus is described in language that belongs to Adam.
Tukaj govorimo, da je jasno videti, da se Jezusa opisuje z besedami, ki so uporabljene za Adama.
But there's something more here.
Je pa še nekaj več.
It also says male and female he created them.
Besedilo pravi tudi, da je ustvaril moškega in žensko.
This is a great encouragement, I think, for women.
Jaz mislim, da je to zelo lepo slišati ženskam.
Because sometimes we say Adam was created in the image of God.
Včasih rečemo, Adam je ustvarjen po Božji podobi.
or man was created in the image of God.
Ali moški je ustvarjen po Božji
And
podobi.
it seems to leave the women out,
Zdi se kako, da so ženske izpuščene tukaj.
but that's not what the Bible does.
Ampak tega ne počne svetopismo.
The Bible says, male and female, he created them.
Svetopismo pravi, moškega in žensko je ustvaril.
So he moves from the him to the them.
Ker se potem tu dogaja ena dinamika od njega na njiju.
No human being is the full image of God,
Nobeno človeško bitje ni popolna podoba Boga,
but the two together are the image of God.
ampak dva skupaj, moški in ženska, sta.
So both men and women exhibit aspects of God's image.
Torej, vidike Boga pravzaprav kažejo tako moški kot ženska.
And I suspect that Jesus, in some special way, has exhibited the whole.
Domnevam, da je Jezus na prav poseben način kazal oboje.
So Adam had three basic relationships in the original situation.
V situaciji, v kateri ga najdemo, je Adam imel tri različne povezave oziroma odnose.
Adam was in the image of God,
Bil je podoba Boga,
which indicates that he was related to God.
kar pomeni, da je bil z njim povezan.
He was like God in a certain way.
Na nek način je bil kakor Bog.
God was his mentor, and he was a disciple.
Bog je bil njegov voditelj, on pa je bil učenec.
So he was to look up to God and to worship God.
On je torej gledal navzgor proti Bogu in ga častil.
But there was a second relationship that is similar to it,
Je še en odnos, ki je podoben temu,
and that is his relationship to the earth.
to je njegov odnos do zemlje.
But first we'll have a look at the second relationship to others.
Ampak bomo najprej pogledali drugo, kar se nanaša na druge, torej na odnos do ljudi.
Because human beings are male and female, it is obvious God intended them to be in relationship.
Ker sta ustvarjena kot moški in ženska, je očitno, da je Bog hotel, da bi bila v odnosu.
And this is a relationship at the same level of equality.
In ta odnos je odnos enakosti.
I believe in Patriarchs and Prophets is an interesting statement.
Mislim, da je v knjigi Očaki in preroki zanimiva izjava.
Ellen White speaks about the woman being made from one of Adam's ribs.
Ellen White tam govori o dejstvu, da je žena, ustvarjena Eva, od rebra, od Adamovega rebra.
And she says if God had wanted the man to rule over the woman, he would have created the woman out of a bone from Adam's foot.
Ona tam pravi, če bi Bog hotel, da bi moški vladal nad žensko, potem bi vzel kost iz noge, stopala.
If God had wanted the woman to rule over man, he would have created her out of a bone from his head.
Če pa bi hotel, da bi ženska vladala, potem bi vzel Adamu kost iz glave.
But instead he uses a bone from the side to show that they were to stand side by side as equals.
Ampak pravi Bog je uporabil kost iz njegove strani, torej da bi bila ona drugemu ob strani.
So human beings have a relationship of equality with each other.
Torej imata moški in ženska enakost, v odnosu enakosti sta.
And then Adam and Eve together had dominion over the earth.
Skupaj pa sta imela Adam in Eva oblast nad zemljo.
They were rulers of God's creation.
Sta bila upravitelja Božjega stvarstva.
The animals and the plants were to be disciples to Adam and Eve.
Živali naj bi bile učenci Adama in Eve. In tudi animals and
Plants, yeah.
Tudi rastline.
And to the earth as a whole.
Celotna zemlja, ja.
It's interesting, Adam had the same relationship to creation that God had to him.
Zanimivo je zapaziti, da je Adam imel do zemlje enak odnos, kot ga je imel Bog do njega.
So in his dominion over the earth, Adam was to be under the rule of God.
V svoji oblasti do zemlje je bil Adam v Božji oblasti, torej Bog je nad njim vladal.
But these relationships were all destroyed or damaged at least when sin came in.
Vendar je ta odnos uničen ali pa vsaj poškodovan, ko je prišel greh na svet.
The moment that Adam and Eve sinned, there were natural consequences for their sin.
Ko sta se pregrešila, Adam in Eva, so se pokazale naravne posledice greha.
They became afraid of God.
Zbala sta se Boga,
They began to argue with each other,
med seboj sta se začela prepirati
and the environment began to decay.
in potem se je tudi začelo odumiranje oziroma uničevanje zemlje.
So all three relationships were affected by sin.
Torej vsi odnosi, o katerih smo govorili, so, na vse te je vplival greh.
There were also judgments of God that affected this.
Ampak tudi neka obsodba Božja je naredila svoje.
God sent them out of the garden, so now there was separation with God.
Bog jih je poslal iz vrta in tu se je zgodila, pretrgan je bil odnos z Bogom na nek način.
And pain entered into childbirth. In other words, the relationship between man and woman would now produce pain.
Odnos med moškim in žensko pa je povzročal bolečine, porodne bolečine.
And the environment now was filled with thorns and resistance to the dominion of Adam.
Okolje pa je bilo polno trnja in se je začelo upirati Adamovi oblasti.
So all three of these relationships that Adam had in the garden were all damaged by sin.
Vsak odnos, ki ga je imel Adam od teh treh, je bil uničen s tem, kar se je zgodilo.
Now here is where I think things get exciting.
Tukaj pa se začne dogajati nekaj, oziroma spoznanje o tem je osupljivo.
Because Jesus comes as the second Adam.
Ker Jezus prihaja kot drugi Adam.
Jesus was Adam as Adam was intended to be.
Jezus je pravzaprav takšen Adam, kot bi Adam naj bil.
For example, Jesus had a perfect relationship to his Father.
Naprimer, Jezus je imel popoln odnos do Boga.
He was
Očeta.
the image of God.
On je bil v Božji podobi.
He related to God the way human beings were intended to be related to God.
On je do Boga imel takšen odnos, kakršnega naj bi imel človek,
And
ko je
so
bil ustvarjen.
you have some texts that only make sense in the light of the second Adam idea.
Potem imamo takšna besedila v Svetem pismu, ki jih lahko razumemo samo s to idejo, da je bil Jezus drugi Adam.
For example, in John 14:28, Jesus says, "The Father is greater than I am."
Naprimer, Janez 14:28 pravi, Oče je večji od mene.
Now, Jehovah's Witnesses love that text.
Jehove priče imajo radi to besedilo,
As they say, look, Jesus is inferior to the Father.
ker pravijo, gledajte, Jezus je manjši, podrejen.
How clear can a text be?
Kaj hočete še bolj jasnega?
But they're missing one point,
Ampak nekaj so spregledali,
that Jesus is the second Adam.
da je Jezus drugi Adam.
As the second Adam, he placed himself in an inferior position before God.
Kot drugi Adam se je podredil očetu.
He was Adam as Adam was intended to be.
On je bil Adam, kakršen naj bi Adam bil.
Jesus came to this earth to relive Adam's life and redeem it.
Jezus je prišel, da bi živel Adamovo življenje in da bi ga odkupil.
In John chapter 15:10,
V 15. poglavju Janeza, 10. vrsti,
Jesus says, "I always obey my Father's commandments.
Jezus pravi, jaz vedno poslušam zapovedi svojega očeta.
I do everything he tells me to do."
Delam vse, kar mi pravi.
That was the role that Adam was supposed to have.
To je tisto, kar bi Adam naj počel.
Jesus has taken the place of Adam.
Jezus je nadomestil Adama, ali ne rečem, ali pa vzel njegov prostor.
He's Adam as Adam was intended to be.
On je bil Adam, torej Jezus je bil Adam, kakršen naj bi Adam sploh bil.
This is true also of the relationship with others.
To je tudi res v odnosu do drugih.
Jesus had a relationship of loving service toward others.
Jezus je drugim služil z ljubeznijo.
In Mark 10:45 it says, "I did not come to be served, but to serve."
V Marku 10:45 pravi Jezus, jaz nisem prišel, da mi služijo, ampak da služim.
Jesus had a relationship of loving service with other people.
Jezus je do drugih imel takšen odnos, ki ga je karakterizirala ljubezen in požrtvovalnost.
And this was beautifully illustrated in the foot washing.
To zelo lepo nazorno kaže v umivanju nog.
As Jesus washed the disciples' feet, he was submitting himself to them in loving service.
Ko je Jezus umil očetcem noge, je pravzaprav se je pokoril v ljubečo službo.
He was illustrating what every human being should do.
On je pravzaprav tukaj pokazal, kaj bi moral početi vsak človek.
If we all washed each other's feet in that spiritual sense,
Če bi drug drugemu umivali noge v tem duhovnem smislu,
would there be any wars?
ali bi bilo vojn,
Would there be any conflict?
kakršnih koli spopadov,
Would our pride get in the way?
ali bi nam vmes bil postavljen ponos.
Jesus was Adam as Adam was intended to be.
Jezus je bil Adam, kakršen naj bi Adam
In
bil.
Philippians, it says he was in the form of God.
V pri pismu Filipljanom nam Pavel pravi, da je bil v podobi Boga.
Jesus didn't have to steal the place of being equal with God.
Ni mu bilo treba priboriti si ali ukrasti ta položaj enakosti z Bogom.
He was equal with God by nature.
Po naravi je bil enak Bogu.
A statement that is made at the beginning of the Gospel of John as well.
To je trditev, ki jo prinaša tudi Janez v začetku evangelija.
But while he was equal with God,
Ampak medtem, ko je bil enak Bogu,
he made himself a servant.
se je storil v služabnika.
He came in the form of a human being.
Prišel je kot človek.
He emptied his privileges in heaven and became one of us.
Izpraznil se je svojih prednosti, božanskih prednosti oziroma nebeških in postal eden od nas.
That was a choice, not a necessity.
To je bila izbira in ne nuja.
Jesus subordinated himself to the human race in order to save us.
Jezus se je podredil človeški rasi, da bi jo rešil.
In this he was undoing Adam's sin.
Na ta način je uničil Adamov greh,
He was Adam as Adam was intended to be.
ker je bil Adam, kakršen naj bi bil Adam.
But here's where it becomes a lot of fun.
Ampak tukaj je zanimivo.
Because there are a number of stories in the New Testament that only make sense with Jesus as the second Adam.
Zato, ker je veliko zgodb oziroma poročil iz Nove zaveze, ki jih lahko razumemo samo, če imamo v mislih to podobo, da je Jezus drugi Adam.
My favorite of these stories is in John chapter 21.
Torej, nanaša se prav na zgodbe in najbolj zanimiva zame je v Janezu 21.
The disciples were out fishing all night.
Učenci so bili celo noč lovili ribe.
And that doesn't make sense to me.
To meni nič ni jasno.
I like to sleep at night
Po noči jaz rad spim
and be awake in the daytime.
in buden sem rad po dnevi.
So why did they fish at night?
Zakaj torej gredo delat po noči?
It's because there's two types of fishing.
Zato, ker obstaja dva načina lahko uporabljate za lovljenje rib.
One type is lure fishing.
Eden od teh je, da z vabo ujamete ribo.
You put something pretty or interesting in the water.
Nekaj daste v vodo, kar je zanimivo, zanimivo, ja.
And you want the fish to see it.
In želite, da bi ribe to zagledale.
So it helps if you do that in the daytime.
Torej, nekaj takega bi počeli po dnevi.
But net fishing, you want to surprise the fish.
Ampak, če uporabljate mrežo, pravzaprav hočete presenetiti ribe.
If you fish in the daytime, the fish will see the net coming and it'll swim away.
Če to počnete po dnevi, bodo ribe videle mrežo in bodo odplavale proč.
But if you fish at night, the fish won't see the net coming.
Ampak po noči ne bodo videle mreže.
It's swimming happily along.
One plavajo lepo,
And all of a sudden, what's this?
naenkrat, kaj je to?
I'm caught.
Ujeta sem.
So the disciples fished at night.
Tako so učenci lovili ribo po noči.
All night long.
Celo noč.
Didn't catch anything.
In ujeli niso nič.
Morning comes.
Pride jutro.
The sun comes up over the hills to the east of Galilee.
Na vzhodu v Galileji prihaja sonce.
The fishermen know they have one last chance to catch fish.
Ribiči vedo, da je to njihova zadnja priložnost, da ujamejo kaj.
And that is to take the net and put it on the shady side of the boat.
In sicer, da mrežo vržejo na senčno stran čovna.
In other words, the net needs to be in the shadow of the boat.
To pomeni, da je mreža zdaj v senci čovna.
The fish is swimming around in the bright sunshine.
Ribe lepo po sončnem vremenu plavajo.
Very happy in the morning light.
Zelo so vesele, zato ker je zjutraj sonce.
And it wanders over into the shadow of the boat.
In pridejo nekako tudi na senčno stran.
And all of a sudden it's caught again.
In naenkrat, ugotovijo, da so
That's the
ujete.
way to fish.
To je način ribarjenja.
Now, there was a man standing on the beach.
Ampak na obali je bil tam nekdo.
This man knew a lot about preaching,
In ta človek je vedel veliko o pridiganju.
but he didn't seem to know anything about fishing.
Zdelo pa se je, da nima pojma o ribarjenju.
He calls out,
On zavpije,
"Put your net on the other side of the boat."
vrzite mrežo na drugo stran.
This is crazy advice.
To je nor nasvet.
But they had not caught anything all night,
Oni niso ujeli ničesar celo noč.
so they might as well try something new.
Torej lahko poskušajo nekaj novega.
What they didn't realize,
Niso pa vedeli,
the man standing on the beach was Adam.
da je tisti, ki je stal na obali, Adam.
Adam as he was intended to be.
Adam, kot bi naj Adam bil.
He had dominion over the fish of the sea.
Tisti, ki ima oblast nad ribami morja.
The moment the net hit the water,
Tisti hip, ko je mreža prišla v vodo,
Jesus said, you, everyone,
Jezus je
into
rekel,
the
ti in
net.
ti in
Let's
ti,
go.
vsi, dajmo mrežo.
And the fish obeyed him.
In ribe so ga ubogale.
153 big ones.
153 velikih.
He had dominion over the fish of the sea.
Jezus je imel oblast nad ribami v morju.
That's why stories like this are in the Bible.
Zato so zgodbe v Svetem pismu.
In
Takšne
Matthew
zgodbe.
17, Jesus and Peter had a problem.
V Mateju 17 sta imela neko težavo, Jezus in Peter.
They were behind in paying their taxes.
Zamujala sta s plačilom davka.
And Jesus had an idea.
In Jezus je imel zanimivo idejo.
He says, why don't you go down to the lake and catch a fish?
Peter je rekel, pojdi na jezero in ujemi kaj,
Since this
ribo.
was daytime, it was apparently lure fishing.
Ker je bil dan, je očitno moral uporabiti vabo.
And the fish sees the bait,
Riba je vabo videla,
catches a coin on the way,
mimo grede je pobrala en kovanec
and grabs the hook.
in zagrabila tam na kavelj.
And the coin was expensive enough to pay the taxes for both Jesus and Peter.
In ta kovanec je zadostoval, da plača, torej da oba plačata davek.
Jesus had dominion over the fish of the sea.
Jezus je imel oblast nad ribami morja.
He was Adam as Adam was intended to be.
Bil je Adam, kakšen naj bi Adam bil.
My only wish is that we could still pay our taxes with a coin.
Moja želja bi bila recimo tukaj, da bi lahko plačevali svoje davke s kovanci.
On another occasion, the boat was in stormy sea.
V drugi priložnosti je bilo nevihtno.
And Jesus gets up and says, peace, be still.
Jezus pa vstane in pravi, utihni, pomiri se.
He had dominion over the earth,
Imel je oblast nad zemljo,
dominion over the wind and the waves.
oblast nad valovi in vetrom.
The disciples asked the question,
Učenci so vprašali,
what sort of man is this?
kakšen človek je neki to?
He's Adam,
Adam.
as Adam was intended to be.
Takšen Adam, kot naj bi bil.
There's one more story.
Še ena zgodba.
Just before the triumphal entry,
Preden je Jezus prijezdil v Jeruzalem,
Jesus decides to ride into the city.
se je odločil, da bo pač šel tako, na ta način.
So he asks for an unbroken colt,
In je prosil, da mu pripeljejo mladiča, ki ga še nihče ni jahal.
a young little horse or donkey.
Torej, v angleščini je colt ali konjiček ali pa osliček.
Now, what kind of ride do you get on an unbroken colt?
Kakšna ježa je, če uporabite žival, ki še ni imela nikogar na hrbtu?
It's usually a short one
Navadno je kratka
and very hilarious.
in zelo vesela.
But Jesus sits on the animal and it recognizes its master.
Ampak Jezus se usede na to žival in ona ga prepozna kot gospodarja.
I could see the donkey turning its head and saying, well, hello, Adam, it's good to see you again.
Predstavljam si, da je žival se obrnila in rekla, pozdravljen Adam, lepo te je videti ponovno.
He had dominion over the beasts of the earth.
On je imel oblast nad živalmi.
So you see, Jesus came as Adam was intended to be.
Torej je Jezus prišel na tak način, kot je Adam bil zamišljen.
There are many other connections between Jesus and the Adam story.
Še veliko je takšnih povezav med Adamom in Jezusom.
For example, the first Adam went to sleep.
Naprimer, Adam je zaspal.
And while he was asleep, an opening was made in his side.
Ko je spal, je Bog naredil odprtino v njegovi strani.
And out of that opening was taken something from which he made the woman.
In iz te odprtine je Bog vzel nekaj, kar je uporabil, da bi ustvaril ženo.
The second Adam was also put to sleep.
Tudi drugi Adam je zaspal.
An opening was made in his side.
Tudi v njegovi strani je bila odprtina.
And out of that opening came the blood and the water.
Iz te odprtine je prišla kri in voda.
And those are the substances from which God created the church.
To je snov, iz katere je Bog ustvaril cerkev.
So we should not be surprised that Paul calls the church Eve.
Zato nas ne preseneča, ne bi smelo nas presenetiti, da Pavel uporablja za cerkev ime Eva.
The bride of the original Adam was Eve.
Adam se je poročil za, prvi Adam se je poročil za Evo.
The bride of Christ is the church.
Kristusova nevesta pa je cerkev.
Jesus also faced the temptation of Adam.
Jezus je tudi se je moral srečati skušnjavami, Adamovimi skušnjavami.
Adam sinned in relation to food.
Adam se je pregrešil v povezavi s hrano.
But Jesus faced the temptation of hunger.
In Jezus je tudi prišel, je bil skušan na tem področju.
And where Adam failed, Jesus overcame.
Tam, kjer je Adam padel, je Jezus zmagal.
Not only that, Jesus bore the consequences of Adam's sin.
Ne samo, da je Jezus prenašal posledice Adamovega greha,
What were those consequences?
oziroma je to počel, kakšne pa so bile?
Nakedness,
Golota,
thorns,
trnje,
shame,
sramota,
sweat,
znoj
death.
in smrt.
The very way that Jesus died recalls Adam as Adam was intended to be as a sinner.
Ravno način, kako je Jezus umrl, nas spominja na Adama grešnika.
So Jesus bore the consequences of Adam's sin.
Torej je Jezus nosil na svojih plečih posledice Adamovega greha.
He relived Adam's life.
On je ponovno živel Adamovo življenje,
He conquered where Adam failed.
premagal je tam, kjer je Adam padel,
And then he adopted the consequences of Adam's sin.
in je nase prevzel posledice Adamovega greha.
So we see that the picture of the gospel is that in Jesus Christ we can have a new history.
Svetopismo oziroma evangeliji pravijo, v Jezusu Kristusu imamo novo zgodovino.
Our original history is grounded in Adam.
Naša prva zgodovina, prvotna, je utemeljena na Adamu.
We fail the way Adam fails.
Nam je spodrsnilo na enak način kot Adamu.
But Jesus Christ relives Adam's history.
Ampak Jezus ponovno živi Adamovo zgodovino
And he succeeds where Adam fails.
in ima uspeh tam, kjer je Adam imel neuspeh.
He creates a new history for us.
On ustvarja novo zgodovino za nas.
You see, psychologists will tell us
Psihologi nam bodo rekli,
the only way to overcome addiction
edini način, da premagate za odvisnost,
is to make a break with your own history.
da se distancirate od preteklosti.
We all are what we are because of our own history.
Vsi smo to, kar smo, zaradi tega, kar imamo v zgodovini.
To break the chains of the past, you need a new history.
Če hočete okovje preteklosti pretrgati, uničiti, morate uničiti zgodovino.
And this we have in the perfect life of Jesus Christ.
In to vidimo v popolnem življenju Jezusa Kristusa.
You see, the law of God is clear.
Božji zakon je jasen.
Obey and you will live.
Poslušaj in boš živel.
Disobey and you will die.
Če boš neposlušen, boš umrl.
This is very clear.
To je zelo jasno.
But here's what Jesus did.
Ampak pogledajte, kaj je Jezus storil.
Jesus obeyed God.
On je Boga poslušal.
He was Adam as Adam was intended to
Bil
be.
je Adam, kot bi Adam moral biti.
He did all the things that God required.
Naredil je vse, kar je Bog hotel.
And yet he reaped the consequences of human sin.
In vendar je požel tisto, kar je posledica človekovega greha.
The thorns, the nakedness, the sweat, the death.
Trnje, golota, pot in tudi smrt.
He obeyed and died
On je poslušen, ampak je umrl.
in order that those who disobey,
Da bi tisti, ki
Might
so
live.
neposlušni, lahko živeli.
this is the great reversal.
To je obrat, veliki obrat.
This is the power of the gospel.
To je moč evangelija.
We are going on one path,
Gremo po eni poti,
but when we encounter the second Adam, we have the opportunity to divert to another path.
ko se naše poti križajo z drugim Adamom, se lahko odločimo tudi za drugo pot.
And this path provides life and blessing.
Ta pot pa prinaša blagoslov in življenje.
Jesus is the ruler of God's creation.
Jezus je upravitelj oziroma vladar Božjega stvarstva.
He is the second Adam.
Je drugi Adam.
He came as a human being.
Prišel je kot človek.
He relived Adam's life.
Živel je ponovno Adamovo življenje.
If you look more widely through the New Testament, you'll find he also relived Moses' life.
Če gledate še bolj široko v Novi zavezi, boste videli, da je ponovil Mojzesovo življenje.
He relived David's life.
Davidovo življenje prav tako.
He relived Abraham's life.
Abrahamovo.
And you could work your way all the way through the Old Testament.
In tako lahko greste po stari zavezi.
In other words, Jesus' perfect life was made up of all of our lives.
Jezusovo popolno življenje je nekako sestavljeno iz vseh naših življenj.
He met the challenges and the tests that all of us meet.
On se je srečal z izkušnjavami pravzaprav in izzivi, ki jih srečujemo mi.
And where we have failed, he has succeeded.
Tam, kjer je nam spodrsnilo, je njemu uspelo.
I no longer need to look back on my own history.
Ni treba, da bi jaz gledal svojo zgodovino še,
It's a history of failure and disgrace.
ker je to zgodovina zgodovina neuspeha in sramote.
But I now have a new history in Jesus Christ.
Zdaj pa imam novo zgodovino.
It's a history of success.
To je zgodovina uspeha.
It's a history of a prince.
Zgodovina princa.
It is a glorious history.
Sijajna, slavna zgodovina.
In a real sense, you become what you are.
Na resen način vi postanete tisto, you become what you are.
You become what you are.
Postaneš to, kar si.
You continue doing the same things you've always done.
Lahko delaš tiste stvari, ki si jih vedno počel.
If someone is grumpy as a young person, they'll probably be even more grumpy when they get old.
Če je nekdo godrnjač, ko je mlad, bo še bolj večji godrnjač, ko se postara.
In other words, we become what we already are.
Mi postajamo tisto, kar smo.
The only way out of that dilemma is to break the chains of the past.
Edini način, da se tega osvobodimo, je, da pretrgamo te okove iz preteklosti.
To adopt a new past.
Da sprejmemo neko novo pot.
And then live your life with reference to that new history.
In da živite svoje življenje v povezavi s to novo zgodovino.
There are many New Testament texts that give that teaching.
Mnoga novozavezna besedila nas učijo to.
But I want to share with you a beautiful statement from Desire of Ages.
Rad bi z vami podelil čudovito izjavo, ki jo najdemo v Hrepenenju vekov.
Christ was treated as we deserve, that we might be treated as he
S
deserves.
Kristusom se je ravnalo tako, kot si mi zaslužimo, da bi se z nami ravnalo tako, kot si on zasluži.
He was condemned for our sins in which he had no share,
Bil je obsojen za naše grehe, v katerih ni imel deleža,
that we might be justified by his righteousness in which we had no share.
da bi bili lahko opravičeni po njegovi pravičnosti, v kateri mi nismo imeli deleža.
He suffered the death which was ours, that we might receive the life which is his.
Pretrpel je smrt, ki je bila naša, da bi mi lahko prejeli življenje, ki je njegovo.
With his stripes we are healed.
Mi smo ozdravljeni po njegovih ranah.
You see, this is the gospel.
To je evangelij.
This is the great reversal.
To je veliki obrat.
This can be the beginning of a new life for anyone in this room.
To je lahko začetek novega življenja za vsakogar, ki je tukaj.
No matter who you are or what you've done, Jesus has relived your life.
Ne glede na to, kdo si in kaj si storil, je Jezus ponovno živel tvoje življenje.
Where you have failed, he has succeeded.
Tam, kjer je tebi spodrsnilo, je njemu uspelo.
And he offers that record to you as a gift.
In zdaj to poročilo o svojem popolnem življenju daje tebi kot darilo.
So that with reference to your new history, you can become what you are in Jesus Christ.
Če gledaš na to novo zgodovino, lahko postaneš tisto, kar je Jezus.
The book of Revelation tells us many things about the future.
Razodetje nam veliko govori o prihodnosti.
And this is a tremendous encouragement to us as well.
To je za nas, to nam daje pogum.
But there is no future for us apart from the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Ampak ni prihodnosti mimo, brez evangelija Jezusa Kristusa.
The foundation of what he does in Revelation is the cross.
Temelj tega, kar je on naredil v razodetju, je križ.
And so the gospel is at the heart of the book of Revelation.
Torej je v srcu knjige Razodetje pravzaprav križ.
We have a couple moments for questions.
Imamo nekaj trenutkov za vprašanje.
There's one over here.
To, kar si nam danes podal iz Razodetja, je pravzaprav eno poglobljeno diagramsko razumevanje Razodetja.
Is like a diagram that goes deep from Revelation.
Podobno tudi seminar brata Findija je pravzaprav ena predelava Razodetja v 28 resnic.
Similarly, what Mark Finley did was to use Revelation and put it into 28 beliefs.
Toda kako brati od vrste do vrste, poglavje za poglavje in priti do teh
How can we read verses one by one successively and chapters and have the same conclusions?
Yeah, I would say that the book of Revelation by itself has about 16 of the 28 in it.
Jaz bi rekel, da Razodetje pravzaprav ima 16 od 28 verovanj.
So if you were to teach only the book of Revelation, you would need to limit it.
Torej, če bi hoteli poučevati ljudi samo iz Razodetja, bi bili zoženi na te.
But many people are offended when you call it a Revelation seminar and then go everywhere else.
Ljudje so nekako užaljeni, če jih imenuješ Razodetje, seminar iz Razodetja in potem iščejo drugje.
But the good news is that the book of Revelation itself alludes to the rest of the Bible.
Dobra novica je to, da Svetopismo aludira na druge svetopisemske knjige.
So it is possible to go chapter by chapter through Revelation, pick up the signals of the Old Testament like we did here, and then build the bigger picture of the gospel.
Zato je možno, da greste poglavje za poglavjem v Razodetju in potem ideje, ki so nekje druge uporabljene, uporabite na ta način.
Now, I have good news for you, especially if you're a pastor or a lay person who likes to do evangelism.
Če hočeš delovati evangeljsko, če si pastor ali pa nekdo, ki se s tem ukvarja, imam dobro novico zate.
Before you called, your prayer was answered.
Preden si ti zaklical, je tvoje sporočilo, tvoja molitev bila uslišana.
I have been working for 5 years with the South Pacific Division.
Z južno-pacifiško divizijo sem delal 5 let.
And a team of Bible scholars and evangelists.
To je bil en tim teologov in tudi evangelistov.
And we have created a series of evangelistic sermons and materials that follow the book chapter by chapter.
In smo ustvarili niz pravzaprav evangeljskih proučevanj prav za evangelizacijo, ki sledijo poglavjem Razodetja.
We have also filmed 24 DVDs which preach those sermons as an example or model for people to follow.
In smo posneli 24 DVD-jev vsega materiala, da bi lahko človek to uporabil kot model.
I am told that it will be finished by the end of the year.
Rekli so mi, da bo to končano do konca leta.
The leadership of the union is already determined to provide translations when they become available.
V Uniji so se odločili, da bodo dali na voljo tudi, zdi se mi vam, to, ko bo končano, prevod.
So hopefully these will be available to you before more than a year or two.
Upam, da v letu 2 boste imeli vse to na voljo.
Our time is up right now, but during the break,
Ta hip se to končuje, ampak med pauzo
I will show you some of the materials on the screen that are already finished.
ti lahko pokažem nekaj na zaslonu, nekaj tega, kar je že končano.